Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. It is the 18th of October. We are really rapidly approaching Christmas. Unbelievable. I know the Christmas decorations have started to go up in the town that I live. I think we tend to have them up about 4 months of the year, I think, all in all. So weather's definitely taken a turn in the UK. Temperatures have dropped. So winter is well and truly on the way. So what's going on this morning? Not a lot really. A little bit of sideways stuff. A couple of pushes down. I was just looking at this. That sort of maybe confirmed it. But I thought if we can get another another push up and a failure, we may come down a bit. But nothing major in the news. We've got some medium impact news. Doesn't really affect us too much. So how you doing? What? I think England are playing South Africa tomorrow, I think. Let me just check. Saturday, is that right? Saturday. Who have we got tomorrow? Yeah. We're playing England on Saturday, so that'll be interesting. So how you doing, pal? So Kev, how are you? Stop Hunter, good morning from California. Sounds sunny. Speedy, how you doing, pal? In the rugby, yes. Oh no, cricket I'm thinking about. Probably rugby as well, is it? Yeah, I'm thinking about the cricket, I am. That's my game, really. I'll watch the rugby, but cricket's my game. It's more of a grown-ups game. Less brute. So, Chris, how you doing, pal? So, what's going on here? That is tempting. We've come down, made 2 attempts to push up. I kind of like that.
Order
let's
submitted.
just have a look, see how that finishes. 1 push up, 2 push up. That's what I'm looking at here. It's just a big ass bar, isn't it? Mind you, sometimes the bigger the more chance of coming down, but let's just have a look. Let's just hope it doesn't get any bigger. I think so. My dad told me we lost to the Netherlands. Not good at all. Yeah. Australia aren't doing very well, which is surprising. Australia usually do well, but Australia are struggling a bit. I think we've won 2 out of the 3. Australia have won 1 out of the 3. So Australia are usually sort of towards the top of the pack. New Zealand, I think, are on top at the moment. Do you know something? The one thing I don't like about that is it's very sideways. And we could have a leg, a couple of pulls back, and a push up again. It's 13 ticks, a tick above, tick below. It's like 303.5 points. I think I'm going to leave this one. Reason being, market opens in a couple of minutes. I kind of like it and I kind of don't. My slight issue at the moment is we've had this leg down. We have a push up, some sideways. We could get another push up as well. So I'm going to leave this one.
Order cancelled.
It is a second entry short. It's probably not a terrible trade actually. But the bit that concerns me is the sideways. It could push up and it could trigger and then have another leg up. I would have thought it's more likely to come down, but it's not convincing enough for me. Yeah, I don't mind trading the open so much. It just whatever's usually happening, it just speeds it on its way. So I don't tend to mind so much. If it's a good setup, I'll go for it because good setups I've noticed usually don't make a difference. So I don't usually have a problem with trading the. I used to avoid it, but then when I saw the odd setup that was a good setup, it just seemed to work. So. It is a little bit congested, so I think the safest bet is to. I do like it. I don't mind the setup, but it is congested, so I think you've got to take that into consideration. So how you doing, Christian? Clay, how you doing, pal? You've got this today. So I changed my chart or screen, as you can see. I kept all the bits and pieces that I used down the bottom, and I wanted to just bring all this stuff in so you can see what my profit was today. Obviously down here you can see that I'm on a PA account and what my balance is. So I just wanted to sort of bring you all into it. It makes it more interesting for you if you know what's going on. So, do you know, I was thinking, actually, we had that little chat yesterday about contract size, and do you know what? I was just looking back on a few of Mac's charts last night, actually, and very, very few, I would say, over the last 3 or 4 days, he's marked the best part of 50 trades, and every single one of those trades has made 3 points or more. Now, if I waited for a good setup and took 3 points, 3 points is not a big trade at all. 3 points is not difficult at all. If I took 3 points on one trade a day on one contract, that will give you an average of $750 per week. Okay, that will come down now, in my opinion. It is a bit congested, so which is why I'm staying out. So, let's have a look at this. So was I right to stay out here? It's going to tick that out for sure, isn't it? Yeah, so, I mean, one trade for 3 points on one contract a day can give you a massive amount of money, really. You times that by... That's the my slight concern. We've had a leg up the side, was often we make another leg up out the side. It really does depend on Prof Trade. How you doing, pal? I think they may be a wider channel than that one. There may be. The only trouble is it's not very wide. That's my concern. Sorry, it's not very... I don't like them. See, that's the official open, isn't it? So you'd have to go from here. The trouble is that it's too shallow for me. I think I heard someone say that the more shallow the trade, the less reliable it is. So at the moment, I'm just gonna have to sit tight because I've drawn that, but in all fairness, I'm not a massive fan of it. So you've got the one from yesterday close. Yeah, see, I've never seen Mac take that into consideration. Let's see if this did work. The stop's still intact. Okay, so we got one push up. That's a second push up. How many points did it make? I still wouldn't have taken it because it's congested, but it is quite a nice big bearish bar. And usually, when you get a really strong bar, often it'll go sideways, 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 sideways. Maybe make a few attempts. Often that stop will stay intact. I see that quite a lot actually. So if you do get into a trade on a solid signal bar, sometimes when it goes sideways, I would say the majority of the time, if it's a good signal bar, it won't get hit. The trade will eventually carry on. So that went down, I would say, for 2 points. But in my opinion, it's congested. And obviously the open could, you know, send a... it didn't even go for 2 points in all fairness. 2 points is down here. What's the... Yeah, so I would say... let's just say you took that and you waited for 2 points. So many times I'll do this, I'll get out of a trade and it'll go on to make the points and I'll get out for break even. So sometimes I wonder whether a lot of this is just to sort of scare people sometimes. Let's have a look. So I reckon that's still going to go for 2 points. So if I put one tick below that stop, let's say there, that's where 2 points. I wouldn't go mad there. 2 points really. I like to get out before the wicks, but I would say that would certainly go down from that. If it breaks below there may be some stops there fading the breakout. So let's see if that holds. So I still think it's going to come down and make that 2 points. I pretty usually get this right. I just want to see if I'd have left it, will that stop? Wow, that's That's pretty bullish, isn't it? It doesn't matter though. Sometimes we'll get a good strong bar over, and as soon as it opens, it'll just turn tail and comes back down. Sometimes them things scare you, but let's see. I'm still expected to hit that 2 points. These tight ranges can go in any direction. Yeah, they can. Let's see if that stop would have got taken out. Mind you, if I would have got in there, yeah, it would have done. If I would have got in there after it started going sideways, I'd have probably got out. But now often I see that. I see it'll mess around, come back up, mess around, and it'll keep that stop intact. But not today. But that's why I left anyway. I mean, it's a nice bar. Leg down, 2 legs up. It's a nice bar, but it's congested. And that changes the playing field a bit. When it's congested, it just shouts uncertainty, and if there's uncertainty there, it really could go up. It could go up or down. You were in that and got out for break even, yeah. The thing is, you have to look back there, and it's clearly congested. And if it's congested, it just means there's uncertainty. So it really could go up or down. That's the problem. I mean, really, from the open, it's generally looking bearish, isn't it? And that's sort of, I mean, you could say that. We got a touch there. You could say that confirms the channel. But just because it touched it, for me, doesn't necessarily mean it's a channel. It just doesn't fit fantastically. To me, it's just 2 pushes down, really. But I think it's more likely going to end up just being a bit of a range, actually. Let's just put that there like that. But yeah, sometimes it can. What I find is the more experience you get look at these charts, the more you get I get a feeling, I do. And the only thing I can put it down to is if you've been stuck and trapped in so many situations, there's a picture that tells that story. So when you lose something, you're studying this picture as it's going again. And that picture is, in my opinion, gets imprinted in your brain somewhere. So whenever you come across a situation like that, something just doesn't feel right. Now, from I've done a little bit of reading about stuff like that, how the brain works and the information it takes in, and it takes in masses, way more than I ever imagined, masses amount of information. You think, yeah, but surely you can't take it. It's surprising. So whenever I've been taken out and lost in a situation like that, something just rings a bell. You can't put your finger on it, but it's like anything, isn't it? The more we do something, the more we fine-tune. We fine-tune ourselves. But yeah, I just get a feeling, I do, and that feeling is caution. So whenever I get that feeling, usually I'm right. Something doesn't feel right. Sometimes you get a bit overcautious. We all go through that stage. We go from being careless to being overcautious sometimes. There's a bigger, clearer channel down. I don't know. Let's have a look. So you said from where yesterday? See, Mac, you never hear Mac talk about channels from yesterday. Never. He never mentions it, so I'm assuming he never mentions it for a reason. Yeah, it could be that. I don't know whether it makes a difference. No. Oh, from today. So where are you going from? So the open was here, so you'd be going from here, wouldn't you? So let's have a look. Yeah, I suppose. It doesn't look too bad. The only trouble is, and I'll tell you what I will say. If you leave like that, you'll be looking for shorts, okay? If you remove that, it's ranging. Do you see what I'm saying? And sometimes you can get dragged into a trade. Now look at that. Now what looks better? That we're going sideways or that we're in a downtrend? What do you think looks better? That downtrend to me, yeah, it's touching, but it doesn't look like a downtrend. For me, it's visually not a downtrend. I would say it's got more of a downward bias to it, but clearly we've had 2 legs, And now we're clearly going sideways. We're not going down, we're going sideways. We've gone up, we've gone down, we've gone up, we've gone down. So, yeah, it's ranging with a slight downward bias, but it's not enough for me to be thinking about taking shorts just yet. I'd rather just, fact, let's bring this down here now. So sometimes I focus a bit too much on trends, and sometimes when you delete the trend, it actually looks much better, much cleaner. Yeah, because at the moment we've had, well, if you look at this bit sideways, really, there's some sideways there, and then we had 2 legs down and we've gone sideways. So that's the trouble, really. Sometimes you can get that focus, and I do it myself, and I've had to learn. I do it myself. Sometimes I get that focused on a channel, and I miss generally that the picture's more sideways. But once we can break out the bottom and retest and continue down, then I'll start thinking about. But at the moment, 1, 2, we're clearly bouncing, aren't we? And very neatly, actually, at the top. Look at that. It's not often we get nice touches like that. So a lot of times we'll push down, we'll make 2 attempts to go higher, and then we'll drop. So if we're gonna turn bearish, I think we're gonna drop here. And if we don't, then I think we may push back up into this range. Let's see what happens. If we do push down, break below and retest, then I'd say, yeah, we're pushing down. But at the moment, I still think it's just sideways. So it's range rules at the moment. Yeah, it's stalling to me. I don't think there's enough shorts in that. So touch, 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 leg and a leg. If this ends up bullish, I think we'll push up. I'm not getting into it though. There's a leg and a leg, but at the moment I'm just a little bit unclear as to what exactly is going on. Now there is a bit of a channel there. It doesn't mean it's going to continue down. It just means there's a bit of a channel from the top to the bottom. So, but this is stalling. I've been fighting a blasting headache this morning. I've just given up sugar, me teas, and any types of cakes or crap. Last couple of days I've been feeling really foggy, but this morning I woke up with a real thick head. I'm drinking loads of water. I've taken tablets for it, but it seems to be wanting to go away. I didn't realise how addictive sugar is. Okay, so we've pushed up. We've had a little bit of a push up, and we do seem to be retesting this. So, I can see us pushing up. It's surprising. Does someone say it's just as hard to get off as certain drugs, isn't it? What are they? I don't know what the saying is. They say it's as hard to get off as heroin. I don't know, but I've never tried heroin, but yeah, it's when you think about it, when you think about what it is, what's cocaine? It's a plant that turns into a white powder. What's sugar? It's a plant which is turned into a white powder. That's a drug and highly addictive. Really, it's. I mean, sugar. When you think about it, in its sort of white powdery form, should really just be as illegal as things like cocaine and that. Really. In fact, a lot of people will say sugar actually does you more damage. Okay, so we've had a break out the bottom. Let's see if we pull back in now or we continue down. Yeah, I've had 2 sugars in me tea most of my life, but I just went cold turkey about 3 days ago. Yeah, there's definitely a downward feel. So we got a leg down, 1, 2 attempts to push higher. 2 attempts to push higher. Yeah, that trade I marked yesterday, where we had that leg down. Let's find it quickly. Let's have a look here. I'm not getting involved in it at the moment. That trade yesterday, where was it? We had that initial leg down. We had 1 leg up, 2 legs up. I remember saying about Penguin taking that. He did. Kind of like that though, but I liked it after it would already come down. So yeah, you know what's going on then, don't you? But okay, what are we doing here? It's definitely a bit choppy down the bottom there. So we've got a leg down. We've made 2 attempts to go higher. So I think it's more likely we're going to come down now. But there's no signal bar. When you think about it, all we're really doing is identifying which direction the market's going in. And then we're just looking for a bar, a strong enough signal bar that's going to encourage other sellers to get into the market. You know, if we do pull down, we make 2 attempts and we have a really big bearish bar, it stands to reason that people are going to look at that bar and think that's the way down. So that's a nice strong push out the bottom. So now we're out and down. I would probably expect a little retest of the bottom, and if we can get something bearish again, then I may have a go at this. So you may even call this, let's see, a bit of a spike on a channel. Let's see what happens. See if it just drops again. Not surprising. Surprising. Really? Good grief. The Andes. There's a go. Chewing cocoa leaves to get used to the altitude. Okay, second entry short there, but it's above the EMA bars. Not brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I've had a sugar cane. I spent a couple of weeks in Cuba about 12 years ago, and it's lovely crushed straight out the sugar cane. But yeah, when they make it into sugar, it's like basically making a plant into cocaine, really, isn't it? You're turning it into a highly addictive drug, really. I think most plants in their natural form are okay for you, aren't they? It's when it's processed into something else that the problem is. You know, you're always best off to have everything, really. Anything, any types of plant, or even meats, really. You know, they've had the age-long argument: are we meat eaters? I'm with the thought that we don't look like meat eaters. Meat eaters usually have different teeth than us, and they usually have claws, don't they, to sort of hold their prey and that. But I think we've certainly adapted to eat meat. But the trouble is with meat nowadays is you know, half the time they're feeding cattle on all sorts of processed crap and to fatten them up. Whereas, you know, if you have it, I mean, it's more of its natural source, grass-fed, it's probably a lot better for you. But who knows? 1 minute they're saying, you know, there's all this carnivore diet, which seems to be the thing. Now, 1 minute is saying you can live on just meat. And then you've got the sort of carrot crunchers saying, no, we need all the veg and the greens and all this sort of stuff. So it's any wonder people don't know what the hell to do. You did it, did you? Tried it for a few days. I just put a couple of stone on during lockdown, and I've just it cured your eczema. It's funny you should say that. I actually read a bit of a study about that because I think they're called alkaloids, aren't they? Natural toxins within plants. And some people don't get on with them. But yeah, I've known people doing a juice diet and got rid of, we got the guy over here, what's his name? The juice guy over here. I forget his name now. But he had really bad eczema. I forget his name now. He had really bad eczema and he started juicing maybe about 15 years ago and it got rid of him. So you just don't know what's right for one might not necessarily be right for other, but it's like, you can have too much of a good thing. We know things like kale and spinach and that are good for you, but if you have too much of them, they can sort of have the adverse effect. But, some people might suit more of a meat diet. Some people might suit more of a plant-based diet. But who knows? You think, where do you get your vitamins and minerals? But there are vitamins and minerals in meat if you eat enough of them. But we go on about 5 a day or whatever it is, 9 a day now. You need your vegetables, you need your greens and all that. And people are going through years and years living off just meat and they're perfectly healthy. Strange, isn't it, really? We've got that much mixed information out there. Is it any wonder people don't know whether they're coming or going? Okay, so we've had this leg down. That to me now is one push in. So we've had a leg down. Whether it's a steep one and a shallow one, we've had one push-up. If we can get another push-up, then I'd say, yeah, I think we're coming down. Then they're trying to push it up, but it keeps coming down. So I'm just going to I'll tell you what, let's just get rid of that in a minute. So there's a leg down, yeah. So we've had one push-up. That's the one push-up for me. So let's see if we get another push-up. If we get another push-up and a bearish bar, then I'm going to go short there because I do see a lot of this now. I've been sort of keeping an eye on that penguin trades just out of curiosity, really. No reason why you can't, pick a few pieces from his playbook. But, like that yesterday I showed you, we had that one leg up, sort of a bit of an angle. We had one leg up and pulled back another leg up, and then it went down like a lead balloon. And there was about 11, 12 points there. So another push up now. The trouble is, I used to love things like bacon and that for breakfast and sausages for breakfast. But when you just eat it every day, that's all you eat. It's amazing how much you get sick of the stuff. I'm on the green tea this morning. Pound of ground beef or so per day. See, I looked at that beef jerky. It's actually quite a bit of sugar in there, isn't there? I don't know whether is it to do with it's smoked or cured or what. I don't know, but you think meat's meat. There's no carbs in meat, but it's quite heavy in carbs. The one I saw. But I know you guys are big with jerky. Not so much over here, and very few people have it over here. I have done in the past. I know it's a lot bigger in the US jerky, isn't it? You have to look for a good brand. Yeah. I was in a shop a couple of weeks ago and I saw a bag of it and I just happened to look at the back and I don't know, per 100 grams there was about 16 grams of sugar in there, which is a fair chunk. Trouble is I'm up to about 15 stone now, which is not huge, but it's bigger than I want to be. That's the trouble when you sit down on your arse for a living. I am going to the gym now, but I'm more lifting weights than cardio. So I'm just being a bit sensible now, just leaving out the crap. Getting rid of the sugar and some of the bread as well. See, bread's another one, isn't it? Give us this day our daily bread and all this sort of thing. We all grew up thinking bread was about the best thing you could eat. It's not really the case now, is it? All right, if we get another push up here, it is struggling to get down. I like the fact that we've had this leg down and we've had one push up and it's messing around a bit. Is if we can get another push up and then a bearish bar, I might be interested in going short there. It's just getting a bit wicky, isn't it? So I think that's the first attempt to push high. If we can get another push up and then another bearish bar, then I might have a crack at that. Let's see if it gives us another attempt. Let's see where this gets to. This may sort of come into play. Let me just get this trend sorted out, this channel sorted out. That might give us another indication. Another indicator. Let's have a look. Some studies showing that if you first freeze your bread and then toast it, the glycemic index. Interesting. I'll tell you what I do. I was a chef when I first left school. So, you know, I do a fair bit of cooking, but I do a lot of sourdough as well. And that's a lot better for you because you're making sort of your own starter, which is your own yeast. And a lot of the trouble is with the bread, it uses all this fast-acting yeast, and it doesn't agree with the proteins in the flour. It speeds it up. So whereas with the sourdough, it just it makes it a lot more easier for us to process and a lot better for you. So I tend to do all of that. And my daughter loves the stuff. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. But yeah, bread's a lot worse than you think. The trouble is, when it's white and bleached and blanched and all the goodness taken out of it, it's like anything. It's once you process something. So that's interesting. So we've got a leg and a leg. I kind of like that, but one leg up, two legs up. In fact, I'm going to take that because I think that's a good sign to come right down. It's way more risk than I wanted to. So, target
filled.
I'm just going to get out there. What did I get there? 1.25. Is that right? 1.25. I like that. We got a leg down. We made 2 attempts to go higher. I just got into it way late. So, I got a 1.25 at 1.25. Yeah, so better than a kick in the teeth. So I just got into that too late and ended up having like a 3.5 point risk or something ridiculous like that. Let me have a look. So we got this leg down. We had 1 push up, 2 push up, turn around right there. So I like that one, but I just don't want to push my luck in case I've well, purely and simply because I got in there. But that's all right for me. That's I don't mind a 1.25. It's a scalp in it. So plus 1.25 points. Yeah, I'm not going to push my luck, but I think that'll go down for another leg for sure. So what was the where did I get in? Yeah, I got in way too late. So I got in there. Okay, that wasn't as much risk as I thought. 3.25. But still a bit more than I wanted. Yeah, I've got no point with just scalping a point, or a 1.25 in this case. Yeah, just late. Yeah, the trouble is, I like taking the lower high, but when I see this leg down and 2 pushes higher and a nice bearish bar, and not only that, if you look there, it's hit that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And now I did adjust it ever so slightly, but as far as I'm concerned, that's still a hit. But you know, you take a trade and you think, I mean, we had this conversation yesterday, what I tend to get a little bit more risky when I'm reducing my contract. That might not necessarily be a good thing, a bad thing, because a lot of the time I do, when I was on 2 contracts, I do let a lot of trades go by. I say, I think it's going to do this. It is a second entry short, but, you know, I'm not sure. And a lot of the times they work and other people take them. So maybe just having that little bit less stress, you know. But what I'm seeing here is a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Bearish bar at that line, came down nice and strong. So I'm thinking, yeah, leg and then a leg. But there's a bit of congestion here, but I still think it's going to come down and make a new low there. I mean, what I will say is when you see these, in fact, I'm just going to go back to the one yesterday. When you see these, they really come down a lot. So we had that leg down, we had 1 push-up, 2 push-up, and that is the same thing I'm looking at now, and look how far that came down. We usually have a good move there. I mean, even that first push came down to 6 points, but eventually it came down to about 9.5 points. But when you get that, we have a first push up, second push up, and usually when that fails, similar sort of thing I'm looking at now, we usually get a good push down, which is why I kind of just jumped in. I knew I was a little late, but same thing, we got a leg down, we had 1 attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, nice bearish bar, and then came down. But judging by what's happening now, might not have been a great trade. Okay, there's a failure there. In all fairness, though, it's a bit sideways. And I don't like the way it's come quite a lot closer. So, I mean, what did that go for? I mean, I got a scalp off it. It went for, okay, 3. So you'd have got 3 points at a squeeze. There's 3 points. So you'd have squeezed 3 points out of that. But I was in just, well, way too late. So there is a failure there. Trouble is, the failures are all better when they trap the longs. I'm not a massive believer that a lot of longs are going to get in there, really, because it's, do you want to go long there when it's clearly sort of sloping down? Okay, well, it worked nicely anyway, so that was a failure. I'm going to mark that just as a little bit choppy, but something I missed. Well, look at that. Okay, so that worked in the end anyway. Sometimes they will come back a couple of times, but for me, we got a leg, 2 attempts to go higher, nice bearish bar, and then obviously came down nice. So I'm okay with that, though. I don't mind. My target, really, if I can, is to get 3 points in a day. Hopefully off 1 trade. But, you know, I've got no problem with taking a couple of trades smaller, but I think you'd always find 3 points in a market, and if you can do that, you can make all the money you want, really. But I was thinking about, we had that conversation yesterday about 1 contract 2. I am quite happy with 1, actually, because it really does eliminate a lot of the stress. And that's half the battle, the psychological side of it. And the less stress you have, stands to reason it's going to affect those emotions less, isn't it? So Hamza, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't see you there. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, anybody else take that, did they? I mean, if you'd hold, I don't know how many trades I've got out of, whereas yesterday a couple of trades I got out of, both of them would have pushed up. But I think I was in late. You took green one good. I was in late, so I thought, you've already pushed your luck, so just get a little bit, so that will do for me. But it clearly did work. A lot of the trades I get in that I get out early just do carry on, but I suppose it's all learning, isn't it? Okay, so we've now had a push down. We've had 1 attempt to go higher. Let's see if we get another attempt. Okay, possible lower high there. sorry, low high, second entry short, possibly, sorry. Just get rid of this. It's still a little bit sideways, so I have to be a bit careful. Okay, second entry short. A little bit risky. EMA is quite flat. In fact, it's maybe turning up a touch, and it's quite a bit above the EMA as well. So I still think we need to take into consideration that it is a little bit sideways. I'm just going to put that back. Yeah, there's still a little bit of sideways going into it, which means it could come back a bit. So leg. Actually, it'd be nice if it triggers there. That's interesting. So try go low one, try. There's a failed second entry short there. There's maybe some trap longs there. It'd be interesting. See, this is holding 3 times on this line, so I'd say it's coming down again. So far, it's still struggling on that line. Is it not moving? That's unusual. Okay, that's what I mean about the sideways stuff. Sometimes I forget it is sideways as well as coming down. So look at that. So if I just quickly bring the 4,000 tick chart in, that definitely looks more sideways, doesn't it? See, on the 4,000 tick chart there, if you do that, could just be a fell bra. I mean, that doesn't really look bearish, does it? There is obviously a bearish feel to it, but look how that's pushed up there. That's the thing. Sometimes you can get that focus on a downtrend. I'm not a massive fan of that downtrend, in all fairness. I know it is touching it, so I suppose it's but yeah, shame about that one. I wish I'd have got in a bit earlier there, but I hate taking that first bar. I don't know why, because I'd say 9 times out of 10 it works. But you know, when you doubt yourself, am I reading that right? We've got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Just the way it's finished there has to say something, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. But I always wait for the lower high. But when I saw it push down, I thought, I know what's happening. It's just lack of confidence, I think. And that's something I think that will just fade away, you know, the more experience you get. But I'm happy to do a couple of trades for smaller amounts than, you know, go for one big one. But my target a day, if I can have a target, not a strict target, is 3 points. If I can get 3 points, I'm happy. On one contract, that's 150. That's 750. That's 3,000 a month on one contract. And obviously, you times that by 10 or 20. Just from trading one contract, you can make yourself a ton of money, can't you? And I'd much rather make it a bit slower. And on one contract, I think trading one contract, even if you have 3 losses in a day, you're only going to lose $450 maximum, aren't you? You can deal with that. It's when it starts to get 700 for me. Okay, so is this just a failure out the top? Possible lower high there. Is that a failure, or is it bouncing off the top and going to push up? What about taxes? £3 a month. Half of it for taxes. Why'd you have to go and spoil it, Clay? God, there's always one, isn't there? I'm dreaming of making money and you're just throwing taxes in my face. In all fairness, £3 a month, if you got 10 accounts, 30 grand a month, you don't mind paying tax. Mind you, if you can earn $30,000 a month, trust me, I'll be on the next plane out to Dubai. Stuff the taxes. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what you guys pay in the US. Where are you, Clay? You're US, surely, aren't you? Do you know the thing is in the UK? The rule in the UK is if you've got a full-time job, whatever you do, and if that's your main full-time job, whatever you earn trading, you don't have to pay tax on. So if I work, let's say I've trade sort of 2:30 in the afternoon in the UK. If I work from, say, 5 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, I don't know, as a carpenter, and I come here and I trade for 3 hours and I make $50,000 a year, I don't have to pay tax on that year because it's not my main job. And in the eyes of the law, it's classed as gambling. Whereas if I give up my main job and this becomes my main income, then obviously it's liable to, to normal UK standard tax. Which I can't think what it is, to be honest with you. I think we get about £12,500 a year tax-free, which is about $16,000, $16,500. And then I think we pay 25% on the remainder up until about £48,000, I think, something like that. They tax the shit out of us. Yeah, they're a little bit more lenient over here. But I still think we have the 45 pence tax rule, I think. If you're earning, I'm not sure, so don't quote me, if you're earning over 150,000 a year or 120,000 a year, you pay about 45 pence on the pound in tax. But in all honesty, if you were earning $30,000 per month, that's a significant amount of money, and I definitely then would consider moving over to Dubai. It's my dream. My dream would be to move to Dubai just for 5 years, just to have a little bit of excitement, just to say I moved abroad and had a little bit of excitement in the sun. And I would just, save money, and maybe come back after 5 years and just buy a nice little family house outright, something like that. That would be my dream. I always like to have dreams. Just inspires you, doesn't it? But yeah, I'd love to go to Dubai. I do talk to a guy regular-ish who lives in Dubai. He was a trader. He was actually an English teacher in the UK. I think the thing is, from speaking from a UK point of view, generally in houses in the UK, we don't have air conditioning. So, we get temperatures, 30, 32, 33. We had 42 last year. So it's pretty warm, but I don't mind. I've always said I can put up with any amount of heat as long as I've got air conditioning and I can get out of it. Well, in the UK, you can't really, because generally we don't have air conditioning, so you've just got to go and sit in your car, basically. So you've got no air conditioning. So I can put up with any amount of heat in the day. We spent 3 weeks in Kenya years ago. We got married out there. And it was right in their hot season, and it was proper hot. And I know it was hot because we had our air conditioning on in the room 24 hours a day, just to keep it cool. But I can put up with any amount of heat in the day as long as I can hit the pool and cool down, as long as I can stay cool at night with air conditioning. So I don't mind it. But it's got to be exciting, isn't it, moving to a country like that? And the beauty of it is being a trader. That's one of the perks of being a trader. You can go wherever you want, really. There's very few jobs that I can think of that you can just literally up sticks and move. You know, anybody that's got a business or running a business, not that simple, but a trader, very few jobs really do, you know, where we work from a computer and we can go anywhere. So that would be my dream. So, you know, I was trying to think about it realistically yesterday. What do I need to earn without being ridiculous? And if I could earn 3 points a day on one contract, that's $750 a week. Now, let's say, for instance, it doesn't go as well as that. Let's say $500 a week, $2,000 a month, just from trading one contract. You have 20 accounts. That's $40,000. Even if you only get half of that, you know, you don't need to make a lot of money. You'll always find a trade that will give you 3 points a day. You know, this is day 5. This is day 5 for me, and I'm $25 under 500. And I've had a bit of a rocky couple of days. I had a day where I didn't trade. I had a day where I was a bit down, and I've still managed to make 500 in a week. So, absolutely. It's thinking about the bigger picture, isn't it? Thinking about small amounts over multiple contracts. So the plan is for me, I've had multiple contracts and I've risked too much. I've got silly. Now I've reeled it back to taking one contract. I'm going to concentrate on one contract on one account. And if I can get this up, as soon as I can get this up till I can take $2,000, then what I'm going to try and do is add 2 extra accounts per month, every time. So every time I can get a payout, out of that payout, I'll introduce 2 more PAs. And I'm going to keep it all one contract because it takes the stress out of it. And even 3 losing trades, $450 maximum, it's not going to do you a lot of damage. So for me, the best option is small and consistent. And you've only got to find one trade just to give you... Absolutely. The trouble is, sometimes you think about this one contract, but think about it long term. You know, over 10 months, if I can introduce another 2 accounts every time I get paid, and just build it up 2 accounts at a time, but just continue with that the one contract, I think is a game changer for me because it really eliminates, I would say, 80% of the stress. And you're not really going to do yourself enough damage. The trouble is, the more you risk, naturally the stress goes up and the more damage you can do on account. And if you think the way I do, once you lose a third of your account, it's very hard to recover from that mentally. And I lost, you know, on those four accounts I had 2 losing trades in a row, and with just large bars, and that lost me $700, which was a third of the money I got. Whereas if I'd have been trading one contract, I'd have lost $350. It's a big difference. 2 trades, 2 points with 2 contracts in 20 accounts, 2 million a year. Absolutely. It is. It's thinking small, isn't it? Little, small bite size over a bigger picture of multiple accounts. But yeah, I you know, strangely enough, I can be a bit just stubborn sometimes, and I've always avoided one contract because I thought it's a waste of time. You're never going to make any money. Christ, how wrong was I? And as long as I've been making, you know, using 2 contracts, I've been blowing an account. So perhaps finally I've learnt my lesson. I finally started listening. One thing about me is I am my own worst critic, so I'm not stubborn enough to admit I'm wrong and to make a change. But just for now, I'm concentrating on the one contract, and I'm going to build this one account. And then when I get a payment out of it, I'll introduce 2 more. Okay, kind of a nice bearish bar there, but I'm staying out at the moment because I don't like what that is doing there. So I push through, come back. Problem is when Apex starts running your trays through the API after you get consistent profit, you'll get slippage. 40 contracts. Yeah, I'm not worried about too. I mean, if I can, if you can get 10 accounts and make $2,000, that's $20,000 a month. If you're making $20,000, I'll be putting a few thousand away every month and eventually starting my own account as well. So if you can get to that stage where you've got the skills and the hard work to get 10 contracts and make $20,000 a month for a while, you can clearly trade. And the guy that first taught me to trade said, concentrate on getting the trades to work and the money will follow. I guarantee it. So I'm not too concerned about that. In fact, what I would probably do is, if I had 20 accounts, is split them up. Maybe trade 10 one day and 10 the next. Or maybe have a slightly larger one, maybe 13 contracts, and then a slightly smaller one, 7. Maybe if the ATR is quite low, maybe trade the larger. I like the idea of splitting them up, because if anything happened, there was an error, anything happened anywhere where there was a black swan event or something went wrong with the software and Apex backed out, you wouldn't lose everything, you'd only sort of lose half. So I'm quite a fan of separating them, so all your eggs aren't in one basket, so to speak. But it is small and consistent, and multiple accounts. In fact, I don't know what the hell we do without prop firms. See, Apex seems to do everything they can to keep our business. We'd be knackered without. I mean, in all fairness, wouldn't we? And they think they've got to give us this and that to keep our business. No, they haven't. We need them. Okay, so I'm just going to fade that out now, because that was my concern there, that it seems to be going just as much sideways. I will say it's starting off like yesterday. There was a lot of choppiness yesterday. Slippage is pretty irrelevant if you're consistent. Yeah, I mean, what is it, a tick or two, something like that. It doesn't concern me too much. But yeah, I mean, if you're averaging $2,000 per account, that's $40,000. If you're making that a month payments, so once you get to that level, you've clearly built up, to be a trader that can be consistently making good money. I mean, really, you get two $40,000 payments one month after the next. Doesn't matter what you do for the next 10 months, you've already earned $80,000. So, what's gone on there? Okay, so the picture went blank. Yeah, I think when you get there, when you sort of realise you slow things down and you get where you want to get, I think getting funding is irrelevant to a degree, because if you've got the skills genuinely to do it, you'll get the money somehow. There's enough prop firms out there, and they tend to be popping up. But, if you're making $20,000, $40,000 a month, you save half of that for 4 or 5 months, you've got yourself a nice little $50,000 dollar pot to trade yourself. So it's getting the skills, building the patience, and when you get where you want to be. I remember reading the Trading in the Zone. He said when you get it and you can trade, trading becomes easy. It's just changing that mindset, learning the skills at the same time and changing that mindset and finding that, how many times have we heard about risk management? How many people think about risk management? Not me, or not up until now. I've just thought 2 contracts, sod it. If I lose a trade $300, I'm risking about 12% of my pot. You can't risk 12% for a long period of time. You'll just blow accounts, and that's what I've been doing, and that's, I'm assuming, what a lot do. Slow it down, ease back a bit. Better risk management, less stress. It makes perfect sense. So what are we going on here? What's going on here? In fact, I'm going to get rid of that just for the time being, because it's upsetting me picture. Okay, so we got some chop. Yeah, it's pretty much sideways in all fairness, isn't it? In fact, I'll probably bring that down a bit now. Let's bring that down to... Let's put that there for now. This is pretty much sideways. I'll be surprised if Mac even has that channel. But now we're moving up, it's definitely more... We haven't really ranged much lately, have we? Yesterday, down, up and down. Day before, a little bit of ranging, but mainly upwards. Same again. We've not had a typical range day for a while. You know, obviously we've had that little section of it, and we had big push up, big push down, but at the moment, we haven't had a day that sort of fits in, you know, this area. But yeah, $500 and up for me is great. If I can average $2,000 per account, so I'm $24 off. This is day 5 for me. I'm $24 off hitting that $500. That is my ideal. Anything above that is a bonus, which is $100 a day, really. It's not a lot, is it? 2 points a day. It's quite choppy. Slight possibility maybe of something bigger, but $2,200 a day was good money. No, it's toilet paper. Yeah, you times that by 20 though. $2,000 a day, $40,000 a month. That's knocking on $500,000 a year, isn't it? And that's only $100. If you did want to build the account, then you could scale up 1 to 2 contracts and so on. So, but yeah, $100 isn't a lot of money, really, is it? I suppose there was a time where that had been your monthly mortgage. Yeah. Yeah, similar in the UK, really. I'd say not a bad wage over here is about £200 a day. What's that, $250 wise? It's probably a little bit above average, maybe. I think the basic basic wage over here, the basic hourly wage, I think is just under £10 an hour, which is about $12.50, somewhere around there. It may have gone up a touch, obviously, in line with inflation. I know we had our inflation read, I think it was 6.7%, so it was static at that. It didn't go up, didn't go down. But consider it was in a double figures, it's considerably better, but things are still pricey. Fuel's going back up here. We're paying about, for diesel, for a litre of diesel, it's about £1.59, which is it's the best part of $2 for a litre. So it was up to £2 at the highest, which is about 25% more than it was now. And before that, it was floating around about £1. So if you're one of the unfortunate ones that you've got a decent drive to work, you're sort of affected. Interest rates. With houses as well, I think I don't know how long we went interest rates at 0.25%. So if you've got a mortgage now, you're going to find it extra tough, because not only are you paying, for all your food and your bills, but your mortgage is up as well. So it is quite choppy, actually. R26 for a litre, which is around about £1, really, with minimum wage at £200. Most people can't afford fuel. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it is the real basic earners that are going to struggle, isn't it? I know our what were they last winter? Our bill for our gas and electric was around about £400 a month at one point, which is a fair old chunk. That's about 3 times what it was a year before. The trouble is with COVID, I don't know if it was like other parts of the world, but I remember being at work one day and watching the news, and Boris Johnson came on. He said, "I'm going to give you one order and one order only. Go home and stay home." And I think 3/4 of the population of the country went home and were paid. The government paid 80% of their wages. So there was no tax coming in, or a fraction of the tax coming in. And the government were giving us 80% of our wages. People who were self-employed had massive sort of grants. So the government just gave away billions. So at some point, it had to come back and affect us, didn't it? I'm surprised it hasn't actually been a lot worse than it has been. Because you can't send 3/4 of the country home, have not get the tax from them, and pay them 80% of their wages without having a massive, big financial burden. So I'm really surprised it hasn't actually done a lot more damage. 2 perfect measures down there and there. Yeah, it's stalling here, which for me usually means it's going to push up, but there is the slim likelihood that we could come down and make a new low. So this might be channel down, 1-2 legs up, and eventually a new low. So as you guys know, I'm not a massive fan of picking bottoms and tops, and this is one of them where I'm staying out of it, because I wouldn't be shocked if it did come down a bit. A leg and a leg, which mean it could go back up, but it could also drop a bit. Unfortunately, no real entry there. And if you did go along there, you might have just stumbled a bit. You don't feel like, yeah, that's the beauty about trading. You can just go home if you want. Yeah, you have a good day, Clay. Yeah, it is quite choppy today. It's not the best of days, is it? At least I'm up a point and a bit. If I can just top that off to $500, another couple of ticks, I'll be quite pleased with that. Okay, so this is a higher low. I'm staying out though. We've got 3 bars back to back. I think it's probably likely going to work or get us close to the EMA, but we got 3 bars back to back, so you just don't know. We've got a leg down. It could be one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. It could turn down. Okay, excuse me just for 1 second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Yeah, I wasn't surprised. That'll come down a bit more, I think. Let's see if we get a low of the day. So perhaps that was a channel of sorts. That'll hit that low of the day, I think. Let's see where it goes. One more tick. One more tick. Bound to. And maybe a few stops there, so let's see if it has a quick push. Leg. Maybe some stop. I doubt it that they wouldn't have sat through all that up, back, up without taking profits if it had gone long there. Ooh, interesting. Okay, let's see if we got anything from market. Not yet. Okay, kind of a nice bearish bar there as well. I'd say that could come down, have a little push. Oh, we have got a new low. Okay, great, excellent. So, are we going to fade the range? Yeah, it's mad really, isn't it, COVID? Mad. I just suppose it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. You just don't know these things, do you? It's the strangest thing I've ever had in my life. I mean, we had the Second World War over here, but that finished about 25 years before I was born. So apart from that, I can't think of anything else that was as odd as that. COVID, strange, especially that affected the whole world. I don't think there has been anything. Is that really? It's affected sort of nearly every country in the world like that. Strange. Maybe there's a bigger channel there. What do you think? Maybe not. Stop cigarettes and alcohol, did they really? Bloody hell, I couldn't surf for 2 months. Almost went mad. Mate, straight away, what I think you're crazy, because I know they have great white sharks off the coast of South Africa. So you're mad, mate. You wouldn't get me in the water in South Africa, even in one of those mesh suits. Because I know the weather can be quite. You always associate South Africa with warm weather, but the sea there can be quite cold, can't it? But yeah, I know you have great whites there. Not a flipping chance. You wouldn't get me near the sea. I have scuba dived before. I've got my PADI open water diver. But I draw the line at great white sharks. They have a lot for... Yeah, there's lots of sea lions and all that there, isn't there? So, yeah. We're not their type of diet, really, are they? But they can soon get you mixed up. So what is this? Is this 2 legs or what? You're on the Indian side. So yeah, warmer, yeah. Yeah, I've been to East. I've been to Africa. Kenya. I spent 3 weeks in Kenya. But yeah, Indian Ocean. Strange, oddly warm. Mombasa we went to. Absolutely stunning beaches, white powder sand, and we went and did a long weekend safari at the Masai Mara. Yeah, if you've never been to Africa and you like your wildlife, absolutely amazing place. Oh, you've been there as well, have you? Yeah, brilliant. When did we go? Where there? We got married there. It was about 20 years ago. Was it 20 years? Maybe not. 18 years. Maybe 18 years, I think. The Diani Beach Hotel, Mombasa, went to. Spent 3 weeks there. That's it, yeah. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. But they pester the shit out of you trying to sell you stuff, I gotta say. But no, amazing place, I gotta say. Safari, surreal. I believe it's even better in South Africa as well, isn't it? I think you got a lot more game there. But just spectacular. Life is crazy. We went on safari. Was it the Mara Safari Club? And we were in this sort of like wooden built hotel, which was built into these 3 trees. They had these big tree trunks going through the building, and we had the Mara River going round us in sort of like a sort of half circle shape. And there was areas where you could go down, and where you could see the hippos and crocodiles and all that. It was fantastic, I gotta say. Amazing. We don't have the migration, but lots of. Yeah, we saw rhinos. We did see rhinos. They called them the Big Five, didn't we? We saw tigers. Never saw a male tiger. Tigers, lions. Never saw a male lion. Saw loads of females and youngsters. Elephants everywhere. But if you like wildlife and that, it's amazing place to visit. It really is a safari. You go out at dawn and it's picture postcard stuff. It's incredible. So breakfast and dinner was £50 a night. That's unreal. £50 a night. You'd be lucky to get a travel lodge here for that. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to go somewhere like that, don't hesitate. Absolutely. In fact, we went. I don't know if you remember back and how old you guys are, but I think they'd fired a missile because where we landed in Mombasa, there was a missile fired at a plane load of, were they Israelis or Germans or something? Because I remember was that in Africa? I think it was. I think it was Kenya. Was that Cuba? No, that was Kenya, yeah. And that was a week before we went. And made the plane ride a bit nerve-wracking, I gotta say. But then we upped and on about going a few years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, but we were advised against it at the time. I think the Home Office was advising travel to Kenya at the time. I don't know what was going on, but no, spectacular. Israel I'd like to go to. We nearly went there once. And I lived in Cyprus for a couple of years, and Israel and Egypt are sort of a stepping stone away. But if you ever get a chance to go to places like Egypt, absolutely spectacular again. There's some amazing places in the world, there really is. South Africa's on one of my lists to go to watch the cricket, for sure. Love to go to India as well. There's just something about the rawness of India that I love. And Australia's on my list as well. Same again, to watch the cricket. So maybe over the next 5 or 10 years. So it's just hard to know what's going on here, really. We have got a downward bias. I'd like to see what Mac makes of this, whether he has a channel down with a break and a low. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. It's very much sideways, isn't it? Is this a failed breakout or not? I don't know. In fact, you could even probably drag this down to there, couldn't you? I'm not sure about that. Okay, yeah, we got something from that. Excellent. See what he makes of this. Oh no, he has got it as his channel. Let's have a look. So he's got it from there. So actually, he's just took his photo here. So let's put. In fact, he hasn't even got the range there. That's odd. All right, let's get rid of the range then. So he's got that from there down to there. Okay, that'll do, mate. I always like to just check. Sometimes I get it the same, sometimes I don't. So we've had a couple of legs up, and now we've made a new low. Okay, so I still think it's very sideways as well. So whatever you're thinking of that, we've had a break out of it, 2 legs up. It looks like relatively close to a measured move, and then down. We've had a break and a new low, so we could technically go back up now. I wouldn't be surprised if we do. There is a higher low there. I'm just a bit unsure at the moment of what's going on, so I'm just going to sit tight, keep an eye on this. But yeah, if we've had this leg down, we got yesterday's lows there. Leg down, break, new low. So are we going to continue down? It's possible. Okay, second entry short there. Let's see if we trap some shorts and it pushes up. Even if it does push up, I'm staying out of this because it is a bit congested. It could likely go up. We've certainly played out this. It does look like it's almost bottoming there, so I still wouldn't be surprised if it does come down and retest it, but we certainly could go up from here, but at the moment it's just sitting waiting. That's probably more valid, I would say. Okay, leg, break, a few pushes down to a new low. So this is interesting. This is that's a failed second entry short trapping. Sometimes I'll take these, but in all honesty, it's congested, so it could sting you. If you went long there, it could trap you. It is a failed second entry short. There's probably some shorts there. May be a few shorts there, which is triggered, but I'm staying out of this. It's a bit congested. Okay, it didn't trigger anyway. Leg down, couple of break. I think we could end up going down here in another channel. It's just working down there for me, and it's kind of nice at the back end as well. So we got a leg down. I think there's a fair chance. So we've had a channel down, we've had a break and a new low, so I think we could have another leg down. The reason I've drawn that is because it's working down at an angle, isn't it? like to come down and have another test. Trouble is at the moment it's congested, so it is likely to come down, but it's a bit congested for me, so I'm just going to hold on here, just in case, because we are coming down to the lows of the day here. So see, from a Pat's point of view, there's no setup there. And if you take that, you've got to look left, and there's 3 bars back to back, and it is a little bit congested. So I'd rather wait maybe to break these lows and come back. But I think it's quite pliable, quite possible we're going to make another leg down. So whether that, where do we open there? Whether that is going to be something like that, which would take us below there, but I think it's more likely there's probably a leg and a leg there, so that for me would be something like that. So down to around about the 43.50 area. Oh shit, what have I just done there? So I'd like another little test at that before I think about getting in. Okay, there's a new low there anyway. I trade more off trend lines and Pats. Yeah, it looks. The reason I've drawn it is because it's working down at an angle, which tells me I think there's a fair likelihood, because this is close at the back end as well, that we're, well, there we go. Yeah, but from a Pat's point of view, it's a risky trade to take that. Because it is in line with those bars back to back, and there's clearly some congestion there, and it's not really guaranteed yet, this channel, but it's looking more and more like it. I will say that, but it'd be nice to just get a bit of a pullback to here somewhere. Maybe retest this lower down, or maybe push up, retest it somewhere in about. We got yesterday's lows there, so that might play a part. So we've got to get closer to the EMA for me, because we made a triple bottom there, so there is a possibility we could push up. I don't think so. I think it's looking bearish for me. Yeah, I've looked at that, mate. What I will say, I got 2 schools of thought there. So if you go from the open there to there and to there, that would take you there, which we've just surpassed. But I think it's more likely we've got there and then there. That's where I think's more likely. Maybe not. That doesn't look as interesting as I thought. I thought leg down there, 2 legs of correction, then another leg down there. Maybe, I don't know. For me, we've surpassed that anyway, so this looks to me pushed down, a little bit of congestion. I think we're going to have a little break above this and then come down again, personally. So there's a little bit of congestion here, which is good. So if we can get a failed break out the top, up to here, that may interest me. or closer to this area here somewhere. That's an inside bar, so there's nothing I can do there. But it's probably going to go sideways. It'd be nice to get a quick pop out the top there. It may just drop, unfortunately, but that's the nature of the game. Trouble is, if you do jump in here thinking it's going to drop, it'll likely trigger and stop you out. So as much as we think we know where it's going, we've still got to wait for a setup. We've got to come back and test this before I can get in, really. There's just no setup there. As much as it looks like it's just going to drop. If I just drop in here, my stop's going to have to go way up here somewhere. So there's just nothing you can do. There's a good chance it may turn. And trust me, if you don't do nothing, it drops out. You jump in, you put your stop here, it'll go and take you out for a stop and then drop bearish and down it'll go. But it does for me look like it's going south, but I can just watch and wait for a setup, and if it goes without me, that's the way it is. I've given up trying to battle the markets because you just won't outwit it. You just have to wait for an option, take it, and then let it get on with it. See what I mean? If you'd have think, it's dropping out there, jump in here, my stop would go there. Bet that ticks above it. There you go. See, that's why I don't just jump in anymore. Because if you think, we're going down, look, you jump in here, it turns around and you takes your stop out. You can't beat the market that way by trying to outsmart it. You're never going to do that. And I've tried it so many times, it just doesn't work. You just got to go with it. So all I can do now is hope this comes bearish and then wait for a lower high. I'd never take this first one. It's just a first push, that is. I can adjust that a fraction to compensate for there because it's only a tiny touch. That can go over here. But if it pulls out again, I'm going to leave it. In fact, if I do that, it actually fits nicer along the backside as well. So touch, touch, touch. Okay, that's all I'm prepared to do there. Possible second entry short. I'll be a bit careful here though, because that could be a little bit of a break. Okay, higher low. Let's see if this triggers. Leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. It could push up. There is that possibility. Okay, I'm going to say, let's assume we have a spike in channel here. I'm a bit on the fence here. I'm not a massive fan of that channel. Let's just put it back and assume it's a break for now. Still not ready to go short yet. It's a bit congested. Second entry short there. Maybe a lower high, but I ain't doing nothing. It's like this. That may be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it's just congested, so I'm just going to stay out. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Good time to take a break, I think. Let's just delete this for a minute. So there may be a spike in channel. It certainly would fit with the backside. So let's just try that. So let's just put that like that, and see if this. Oh, balls. Let's just see if there's anything like that. I don't know. It's hard to say at the moment. Could be a leg and a leg. I'm not a fan of this at the moment. Something I don't like. It could be a break. So let's just wait and see what happens. I'm going to take a quick break. I've got my new little thing. Where is it? 5-minute break. There we go. You see that? Keep calm, taking a 5-minute break. Okay, so quick cup of tea and I'll be back in 5. Okay, I'm back. Okay, what did I miss? Okay, so let me have a look. Sort of a lower high there, but I'm not a massive fan of it. That is possible, but unlikely. It could, because it's quite a strong push down. This one tier, quite a strong push up. I don't know. I'm not. Leg down. There was what sort of looked like a lower high there, but it didn't tick above there. So I think we're probably going lower. I'm just going to kill the colour there because I'm a bit on the fence about that one at the moment. But there is a possibility. That it's a two-tiered channel. Leg. Okay, so I've got two schools of thought here. If I bring in the 4,000 tick chart, we got a channel down here, a break, and possibly a new low. So I don't know what it's going to do there. It could push up or it could push out a bit more and come down some more. So although I've got this larger two-tier channel on the 2,000 tick chart, on the 4,000 tick chart, I'm just sort of leaving it there for now. So I've just got both perspectives. Yeah, it's clearly a bit congested there, isn't it? There is a second entry short, but you're going short right in that middle. It could come down, but I'm just not convinced. That hasn't really worked anyway. Well, I very nearly hit the sell button there. It's just something I don't like about it. Especially the way that's pushing up. It could come up if this channel is sort of valid. It could well come up. I just don't like the way it's doing that. Could have a leg and a leg, which would take us up to here. I'm just not a fan of that, in all fairness. Yeah, that's going to take that out. Yeah. I very nearly hit the sell button, but I just thought, hold back. It's just something I don't like. When I get that feeling, it's just congested. It's a little bit unclear. Have we got this leg down break and a new low? Are we just retesting it before we move up? There's a failure there. See, there's a failed second entry short, which is trapped the shorts. It's not pushing up as strong as I'd like to think we're reversing, but we could. We got a leg down. We had a break. We had some new lows. We pushed up. We came back, retested them again. This could push up quite strongly from here. But I'm obviously going to give it the option to stop at that line. But we could get a push up from here. So, although we trap the shorts, I'm still not interested in going long just yet, because at the moment we've got a downward bias. So it's yeah. So if I take that up to there, see, you just don't know, do you? Touch. So we can have a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. I'm just leaving alone at the moment because I don't know what the score is. We've got yesterday's lows there as well. It's a bit in the way, that is, but so we've got a leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. See, that could possibly be like a penguin trade, but I just don't know. This looks like it's bottoming to me. I think we could get a really strong push up. Yeah, I had my suspicions. It looks like it's bottoming to me, so whether this is valid or not, I don't know. It's just as feasible that... Oh, sod off. That I'm sort of just as happy with that. We've had a break. And not quite a new low. In fact, I'm not even a massive fan of that, really. That was the original one I had. So, break new low. And it does look like it's bottoming. It's struggling to get through there. We've pushed up strong, we've come back down, and we've tried again. And it does look like it's working higher to me. Now, there is a possibility that we could be in a range, because if you draw that like that, that would work. Let's bring that down a slight fraction. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches along there. So that's a possibility. So I just think that bigger downtrend is not right. It's actually quite a choppy day. It's a little bit hard to read at times. There are days where I just know what's going on. I feel really confident I'm reading the charts well and I can take trades. And then other days, it is a lot more randomness to it. So at the moment, I'm clueless as to whether we're going up or down. But we touched a bunch of times here. We've touched in 3 different areas here. So as far as I'm concerned at the moment, we're just going sideways. Yeah, if you look at it, it's a funny old chart, really, isn't it? I had that initially, then I got rid of it because it's a bit of a messy chart. Then a trend channel. Then I noticed Mac had it, so I put it back. But it's making its way down in some odd shape or form. Same again, even the break's a bit odd, isn't it? We had 2 legs up. It's an odd break. You know, sometimes we get these channels, we have a break and straight away it comes down, makes a niggle. Other times it'll just move in a different direction and then decide to go. So it's, when it's like this, it's very much bouncing all over the place, really. It's a bit hard to sort of work out what's going on. But then with the 2 breaks, we've clearly made a new low. But it does look like it's bottoming here. So it's either bottoming or it's just decided to go sideways for now. Because, you know, why is it going sideways? Probably because no one knows really what's going on. Because it is just a bit random and a bit messy. Are we going down? Is it a range? Are we going up? I'm finding it unclear, and judging by the way we're going sideways, I think a lot of other traders are finding it unclear. So you could call that a triple test. Quite a nice bearish bar there, but it is a bit congested. Like I say, it's unclear. We've got a break. It could be 1, 2 attempts to go lower and then a push up. So I'm just staying out here. You know my thoughts on picking tops and bottoms. I'm not particularly good at it. Or shite comes to mind, actually. I don't tend to have a lot of luck with these picking the tops, but you just never know. Certain tops they're a little bit more obvious, but this is, as you say, it's as I said, it's very random. Okay, so this is a failure. Second entry long failure. Same again, it's a bit unclear. I'm not getting involved. It may work, it may trigger. There may be a double trap. It's clearly congested. Not only is it sideways, it's sideways up here as well. So you could have like 1, 2, 3 attempts to go. It could push up. So I'm a bit on the fence here, so I'm just staying clear. Just letting it sort itself out because there's some traps here by the looks of things. If you took that one, it came back and it skinny your teeth, but I think that failure is going to get stopped out. Okay, so if you did take that failure, thinking you were going to trap the longs, I'll be shocked if that doesn't get stopped out. It's bound to. It's bound to. There is a possibility. It does seem to be working up in a fashion. So touch. We'll see. Yeah, so if you took that failure, trigger just stopped you out. If you took that, I'll be surprised if there's not some stops above there, and I'll be shocked if that doesn't take out them stops. That's why I'm staying out of it. It's just there's traps galore. It's not clear. My conclusion is if you're going to take a short, it needs to be a short that every trader is going to look at it and think, freaking hell, I'm getting in on that. And that isn't one of them. So that got stopped out and that got stopped out. So anything long, whether you took the second entry long or I don't know, maybe your class as a high or low, that's working. So I did have my thoughts that it was going to do that. Okay, so that looks like it's working out. So where will it go? I'd love to say it's going to go up there, but it's just, we came down, we had a bottom, we came down, we had a bottom, so you don't know whether it's going to continue down or push up. I don't know. I'm on the fence today. It's a bit of a tough day today to understand. I'm a bit clueless to a degree, to be honest with you. It could be a leg and a leg. It may be a failed break out of this. It could be a bunch of stuff that may come back in here. Just because it's sitting along that line doesn't mean it's going to continue up. But it's just a bit unclear at the moment. So far, we've definitely had a bearish feel for the day, haven't we? It came down there, we had a break, came down, had a new low. So is it a failed breakout? Or are we going to bounce off the top? Oh. So, failed breakout then, by the looks of things. That's the trouble. I did mention I got no idea whether it's going up or down. 1 minute it looks like it's going up, then it turns. So it's a very odd, choppy day today. Not very clear at all. I mean, even the downtrend looks completely confusing, doesn't it? Yeah, it's respecting the tops, but look where it is. It's just random. It's spiking all over the place. So even the downtrend's not clear. So it might be one of those days. I think that was probably our best bet, actually. Leg down with 2 attempts to go higher. Can't see a massive amount else. JC, hi Lance. Where do you find in Apex? Where do you find in Apex? How many days have you traded an account for? You might have to clarify that as such. Where do you find in? Where do you find it, or what? Just rewrite that one, bud, a bit clearer. I've been trading Apex on and off now for, well, I say on and off, for about a little over a year or so. I've had multiple accounts. I've also had problems with losing accounts. And it's all part of the journey, but on and off for 12, 14 months probably. I traded an account for 7 days. I want to know if traded account. Yes, I have, yeah. I've had $10,000 in payments this year, so not a huge amount, but multiple payments. I could have had a few more. I decided to leave a bit more in the account, but I've just been risking a bit too much, so I've reduced my risk to half, and I'm going to tack it a little bit slower. It's quite common for just to risk too much and cause yourself problems. So, but yeah, I've not had a problem with being paid. I've never had an issue being paid by Apex. I think the longest account I had was nearly 3 months, about 3 months, I think. Something like that. You've got to trade. Yeah, I'm still not quite sure what you're saying there, bud. You've got to trade a PA account for a minimum of 10 days. Yeah, you got it. Okay, minimum of 10 days and you've got to hit. But no, there's no problem with Apex, mate. I think the majority of traders here use Apex. Certainly the prop traders here. And they'll tell you the same thing. You can't beat Apex, in all honesty. They just have the best deals. There's no issues with paying. They're pretty good. Well, I've never had a problem with them, really. You'll see the things down here on the bottom, the things that are sort of advertised down here. I only put things down here that I use myself. So Flowbots, Replicanto I use, Apex I use, and Trader Sync I use. I could add a bunch of other things, but there's all sorts of different prop firms and all that out there. But I'd rather just stick, because a lot of people say, what do I use for this? What do I use for that? So it's all down in the bottom. But yeah, Apex, you won't go wrong with Apex. I promise you that. So what are we doing? What are we doing? It's very choppy and it's very hard to read. Leg down 2 attempts. That was probably about the easiest one that I can see. I can't see. You may have taken the failure as well. But if you go to Apex account summary, it shows you how many days you've had. It does, yeah. Yeah, if you just click on account summary, you'll see I'm on. I've day 4 on this account. There is a 71% off discount code at the moment. Excuse me, but we've got Halloween coming up soon, so I would suggest that we are likely to have maybe an 80% off, maybe a 90% off. So if you can hold off, personally, I would. Now I do get a cutback from. I get a commission from Apex, not from you. It doesn't come out of that. It comes from Apex. But I'd rather you get a better deal. So if I was you personally, I'd, unless you want one now, I would probably tend to hold off for a week and a half, maybe 2. And in fact, if I remember rightly, I think it was last Halloween was when we had that first ever 80% off. And we didn't think that could get any better than me. But yeah, personally, if I was you, I'd hold off a little bit, unless you specifically want one. But I'd rather you get a good deal, because trading and learning to trade's pricey enough really without, losing extra money, blowing accounts. Okay, so it's still no clear really, is it? There's just nothing you can do here really. Second entry long, it may push up, but it may trigger and come down. What I will say is it's going sideways, and when it goes sideways, usually there's a bunch of traps, and it's one of them things, isn't it? So if you left that and you took that one, and there's no reason why you wouldn't take that one. It's kind of a nice bar. We've got a leg up, a break, another leg up. A second attempt to go up, so you may take that one. It's quite a nice bearish bar, and maybe then you take the failure. You think, yeah, we trapped some longs, but then what happens? It triggers you and turns around and takes stops out from there and there, which is why I don't pick tops, because I don't know, I'm naff at them. So same again, second entry long triggered, that may come down and trap you. There's also a failed second entry long, and a second entry short triggered. You may think, let's go short here, but it's just traps and traps. So I'm just sitting tight and twiddling my thumbs. I'm waiting for the market to go in a certain direction. Hopefully up or down will do. See, the volume slowed down purely and simply because, no one really knows where we're going. We've been moving in for quite a while now, just sideways. EMA's flat, yeah, correct. It is sort of when it's sort of below it, above it, below it, above it, below it, above it. It just means we're really going sideways. It's uncertainty. No one's really, there's not a lot of buying or selling going on because what are we doing? Are we going up or down? It's just not clear, is it? I mean, there's definitely a downward feel for it, but that could change. There's a downward feel and also a bloody confusing feel for it as well. So the best thing to do is just sit tight. Count your millions. Or dream about earning them. In my case. Yeah, it's just not worth trading here. You'll just get chopped up. You're long, are you? Yeah, I'm staying out of this, I am. Could just come down and get you. See, on the other side of the coin, if you think about this, we've had a leg down with a break and a new low. We've made 2 attempts to push higher, and we've pushed down. So there is a possibility we could make some more down. It just might be trying to retest this. See what I mean? 1 minute it looks bullish, then we get a bar like that. Now that is, I think, is not a bad bar. I like it when it breaks out and comes back down. So we've had a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. I don't think that's a bad short. I'm staying out because it's a little bit more risky because it is congested. But, 1 minute you think we're going up and then all of a sudden it turns. But I don't think that's a bad short, but I'm not taking it because it is more risky. But I'd certainly rather take a bar like that than a bar like that. But it does look like we've had a leg down, breaking a new low, 2 attempts to go higher, failure, leg down, leg down. So I think that's going to come down and take out any possible long stops there. Excuse me. So, and you guys still long and just shit your pants there, I think, didn't they? It came down very close to those stops and then turned. So I think you got away with it there. But I bet your knees were knocking a bit as that was coming down, because it did come down pretty sharpish, didn't it? That's what I mean. You just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. 1 minute it starts to look bullish. Next minute that happens and that happens. And you're thinking, oh my Christ, what's going on? But it's clearly sideways. It's clearly sideways. I'm assuming some more buyers came in there and saved your bacon. I still think it's coming down personally. That looks to me like a leg with a break and a new low. 1, 2 attempts to go higher, leg down, leg down. I think we're coming down. Certainly, I would say to take out any of those stops for certain. If the market doesn't do anything, it looks for stops, especially when it's going sideways. There'll be some stops there, and there'll be some stops there. Maybe even down here, but let's see if any more buyers come in and save you. I'm assuming if you're in, you're probably out, aren't you? Depends what you're going for. But I will be surprised if it doesn't break below. Certainly that one. See, it doesn't matter what you do when it's like this. If it pushes up, you think I'll go long, and it comes down. See what happens? You think it's coming down, so you think I'll go short, and then it pushes up, so you think I'll go long, and then it pushes down. So it literally goes up, taking long stops out, taking short stops out, taking long stops out, and that's what it does. It just, if you watch it, you think, oh, you were pushing up, let's go long, comes down. Oh, let's go short, it goes up. Oh, let's go long, comes down. Oh, let's go short. It doesn't really matter where you take it. It sort of turns on you when it's going sideways. See what I mean? Pushes up. You think, oh yeah, we're going long. Turns back down. I'll be shocked if it doesn't take out at least that stop. Yeah, it has done. Yeah, that's why I couldn't go long there, because it is just up, down, up, down, up, down. And it's so hard to trade that. That I liked. Out of all this lot, for right the way along there, that's the one that I may have had a go at, because we've had a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, and I like the way it pushed above and then came back down, closed below, leg. That's the one I would have had a go at, but at the moment, because it is choppy, I just tend to avoid them. So I was pretty sure that was going to get hit, and it did. That one, I can't see as many longs in there. The higher low there, that would have got a few more in. So whether you'd have held on to that thinking we're going to push up, leg up, depends. You'd have got a few points out of that anyway, for sure. Yeah, you'd have got 3 points out of that. See, sometimes you do wonder when it's do this, that you don't wait till that finishes and just sell. and then wait for that to finish and then just buy. You know what I mean? Wait for that to push up, then sell. Comes down. Wait for that to finish and then buy. Up it goes. Wait for it to finish. Sell. Down it comes. Wait for it to finish. Buy. Up it goes. Wait for it to finish. Sell. Down it comes. You could probably do that and get a point every time. Okay, so any stops along there now are all gone. There may be some there, whether they held or not. I don't know, but it's just clearly choppy as shit, really. You can't do a lot with it. Fortunately, my patients are pretty good today. Okay, what time is it? How long have we been going for? I'm not going to knock on the head, I think. So for the last 5 days, I'm just under $500 on one contract. And that's somewhere where I want to be. If I can do that on average, that's $2,000 a month. That's a perfect place to be, in my opinion, if you can do that. And I've had a slow day. I had some losses yesterday. I had a day where I didn't trade. I had a $50 down day. So it's not difficult to get that on one account, $500 in my opinion. So if you can get that on average, that's $2,000 a month. You get 10 trades, 10 accounts or 20 accounts. And it's a nice small amount to trade one contract. I like that. It's not too risky. Even 3 losses of big bars is only going to take you down by 450 a day. But I'll be surprised if you lose 3 losses in a row too, occasionally. Not often. But it's a much more manageable risk in all fairness. And it's about 5%, which is a lot closer than you really want to be with your risk management. So I'm quite pleased I've managed to come down, and I'm sort of happy where I am. So I'm going to knock it on the head there, folks. It's Wednesday, Thursday tomorrow. I'll be back same time tomorrow. So it's been a bit of a slow day, a bit of a boring day, but at least I managed to get a 1.25 earlier on. So hopefully you've got some green yourself. And if you are, you're welcome, Chris. If you are carrying on trading today, I hope you get something. I hope we get out of this horrible bloody range. I fear we will at some point. Maybe have a leg and maybe another leg. I don't know, but I'm done for the day. I'm going to finish early today. I usually trade for another half an hour or so, but it's pretty slow. I'm up a 1.25, so that'll do for me. If I can be up a 1.25 on a slow day, I'm pleased with that. So appreciate all the comments. I'll be back same time tomorrow. So have a great day and a great evening. Stay safe, and I will see you all same time tomorrow. Bye for now.